Hello, yes. So I am the founder of the City Girl Network, which part of that is Brighton Girl, and I wanted to share with you my own personal struggles through setting up the City Girl Network and how it's affected my life. But first, I'm going to tell you that 2,631 20-something women have found travel companions, housemates, new jobs, and a whole new set of friends across Brighton, Bristol, Berlin, Edinburgh, Manchester, and Birmingham. I often forget one, but I know I haven't. Because of a decision that I made 2 years ago. When I was walking along the seafront in Hove, and I was feeling very lonely and very lost, and really like my life wasn't really going in the direction I wanted it to go in. And I saw this girl looking out to sea, looking as the sunset came down, who was a similar height, similar hair colour, and I thought a similar age. And I just thought, I wonder if she's feeling as lonely and as lost as I am. And then I thought, hang on, I'm sure that there's a lot of people who are feeling as lonely and as lost as I am. So in that very moment, I took out my phone, took a picture of her, posted it on Instagram. Millennials. And I wrote a mission statement that I cannot reel off the top of my head, even though I've said it so many times. But really what it comes down to is saying that no matter what, we all need something in our lives to get us through these really difficult times and these really lost and lonely times. And at the time, I'm a former journalist. Actually, I'm now a current journalist as the story goes on. And my background was in journalism and was in creating, I've created 5 magazines so far. And I thought, I'm going to do what I know best, and I'm going to make a magazine for these young women, and I'm going to give them resources, and I'm going to make them feel at home in their city. So I started to do this and pretended to run this massive magazine all on my own with the help of some really lovely local bloggers that I know and still love very dearly. And 5 months later thought, I don't know if anyone's reading this. And I don't know if I'm really hitting the mark. So I organised a coffee meetup in what used to be Verano Lounge in the very centre of town. And expected just one person to turn up because I forced her to come. But actually, to my surprise, 17 different women who did not know each other beforehand turned up and started to just talk about anything and everything and partners and jobs and just all the things you talk about to your friends. And I took a step back and thought, I'm not going to quiz them about the magazine, as planned. I'm actually just going to let this happen. In fact, young women don't need content all the time. They actually just need friends. So what then happened is Brighton Girl evolved from being this magazine to actually a social network. And it grew from strength to strength. And actually, within 3 months, I had 68 people writing on the magazine. It became the 3rd most read online magazine in Brighton. And by November of last year, 2 girls said, one said I'm moving to Berlin, one said I'm moving to Edinburgh, and they both said we don't want to lose Brighton Girl. So I worked with them to set it up over there. And I got this gut feeling all of a sudden that actually I was really onto something, because it used to be just a project. I was working full time, I was a social media manager for a really great company down here, and I just found myself on a different mission to help these young women. So I trusted my gut feeling, handed in my notice at work, took up a freelance role, not really knowing what I was doing, but I gave myself a 3-month notice so I could figure it out. And suddenly I was the owner of this business called the City Girl Network. And between then and now, we're now in Bristol, Manchester and Edinburgh too. I've been a part of the Entrepreneurial Spark programme for 9 months and recently left there. It was a brilliant programme for any small businesses that are looking to expand. And just found myself with this SEO brain. SEO? Actually, I always have an SEO brain. What I meant was a CEO brain. I am a marketer, just so you know. And I've been stressed about SEO all day. So I found myself with this real CEO brain where I was running all of these different cities. I've got 4 people who are really helping to grow the City Girl Network, but I've also got 98 volunteers who work across all the 6 different cities, writing for us, helping to run and manage Facebook groups that are very, very busy, and just running these incredible events. And we've just started making money from it, which is amazing. But whilst that was going really well, it actually had a really negative impact on my personal life. And 3 months ago, I found myself walking down Old Shoreham Road with my laptop, my camera, and my iPad on my back, and 12 items of clothing, some toiletries, and my very trusted, loyal companion teddy bear, Scruffy, in my suitcase. He comes everywhere with me. So, not everywhere, but he's always around. And for the first time in my life, I had no idea where I was going to sleep that night. Because I woke up that morning, looked around, and just thought, I'm living the wrong life. Whilst, yes, the City Girl Network is going really well, and it's my dream job by far, I actually am totally asleep to what's going on around me. And I was in the wrong situation and didn't really know myself, actually, which is a very, very common problem for everybody. And so I took another jump and made myself homeless, basically. Not advised. And actually, unfortunately, for the 2 months that followed, on paper, I probably had the absolute shittest time of my life, because I was going through homelessness, although I always had a roof over my head, which I will explain later. I had some really severe financial struggles, aka can't afford to live in Brighton. I don't think anyone can. And I actually had 2 very major health scares. So I found a lump on my breast, and I also found out that there was a very high chance that I might have cervical cancer. Both are fine, which is brilliant, but it was a really terrifying time. And I had a lot of quite major relationship breakdowns on the side. So basically, everything just set on fire, and I had to spend 2 months putting it out. But what that whole experience taught me was to live. And actually, the reason why I got through it and the reason why I'm able to stand here and very openly tell you what's just happened in my life is because of the decision that I made 2 years ago. Because of Brighton Girl. I had 58 different girls sending me links to places to live. 13 of those girls put me up on their sofas and in their spare rooms. I had 98 different messages online and both face-to-face saying, you know what, Pippa? It's all going to be okay. And there was one girl who, when this all happened, she helped me to find a storage container to put my stuff in and organise for it to happen. She came and helped me move out. She then gave me her flat to actually just have as a base for 5 weeks, where I could have my valuables and where I could just go and stay if I needed to. And she was a massive catalyst, along with an incredible team of people, in making sure that Birmingham Girl launched while all of this madness was happening in my life. So what I really realised was actually that whilst I was the founder of the City Girl Network, I wasn't really acting like a city girl, and I wasn't actually understanding really the real beauty of what I was creating. Because I'm not the only girl in my network that's gone through this, as I actually found out, because I'd never taken the time to sit down and listen to other girls that had gone through these problems. So during these 2 years of the City Girl Network being formed, I really thought that when I actually agreed to do the Inspiring Talks, I'd be talking about the importance of following your guts and just feeling the fear and doing it anyway, which I know is the theme of today. And I still really believe that. And I believe that if there is something that you have a burning desire to do, you can make it work. I actually made more money as a freelancer than I ever did as a social media marketer for a very successful company, for example. But what I really learned was that being vulnerable does not make you weaker, and being disconnected certainly is not protecting yourself from unhappiness, which is, I think, at the time what I thought I was doing. By disconnecting myself from potential problems, maybe I wouldn't experience unhappiness. It was the total opposite. But the one thing that I really learned during this time of homelessness, and also trying to run everything at the same time, is that home is actually the people who are on the familiar faces that you see on the streets. It's the baristas who know your favourite coffee order. It's that feeling you get when someone says, can you recommend this? And you can reel off all of these different ideas. And for me, after 2 years of living in this city, I'm so thrilled to say that home for me is finally Brighton. Thank you very much.